Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel again. Now, I had just finished watching on Peacock The Making of a Bad Boy documentary about Diddy. If you plan on watching it, you might want to exit out of this video because there are going to be spoilers. If you don't want to watch it, I watched it for you. And I'm going to talk about very, very important, very extremely important parts of this documentary that really stood out to me. A lot of it was talking about things that we already know, uh, things that I've reacted to already, articles that I've already read. You had a lot of people in here. They showed clips of Jaguar Wright. You had Gene Deal talking. You had the lawyer, the one lady, Ariel, speaking. And then it was some people he grew up with, you know, who was right next to him as he rose to the top. But the one that stood out to me the most, and that I was waiting for, was Al B. Sure. Al B. Sure, who is Quincy's father, one of Diddy's sons, who was also with Kim Porter before Diddy. I'll come back to that. So I don't want to make this video extremely long, but I'm just trying. Ladies and gentlemen, like, I have notes, literally. It's a lot of stuff that has to be talked about throughout the documentary. And in the beginning, it started off with his friend Tim Patterson, all right, his childhood friend who grew up in the ghetto. And he talked about when Diddy's father died, who they said was giving information to undercovers, to an undercover cop. And he ended up getting taken out. And there was money left behind. So Diddy's mother ended up having his house, and Diddy was basically in the suburbs. And Diddy mother and Tim Patterson mother was really close, so she decided to let them stay there. And, you know, Tim Patterson was just shocked because he was just looking around, and he said Diddy and them look different. They look different. They look like they had money, which they did. They said Diddy was dressing, he was like a what do you say, a 4-year-old dressing like a 30-year-old. But basically this friend says he doesn't know Diddy or Puffy or Love, or he don't know that. He just know Sean. He don't recognize this person that Diddy has become. He said he basically lives off the grid because he felt like he was in danger, or he was in danger. He was getting threatened, said he had guns put to his head. He got up out of there. He's living off the grid. But that's pretty much one of the guys who grew up with him, and that was his story. He would come in and out of the documentary. They would go back and forth to clips of him just talking about everything that went on, how he lost his father, excuse me, he lost his son, and potentially losing a friend in Diddy, you know, if he ended up going to jail. It talks about a lot. It talks about Clive Davis, Diddy becoming the richest like nobody had ever seen anyone getting money like that. Clive Davis giving Diddy that $55 million. You know, Diddy, the arrogance, the nobody's going to be better than me. It talked about the charity event where a lot of people lost their lives because of the stampede that happened. And some of the family members were speaking out, um, talking about how Diddy needed to take accountability for what happened, and that the guy Diddy offered the dude like 50,000. They said the college or whatever was 50% to blame, and Diddy and Heavy D was the other 50% to blame. They did a settlement that gave the families like $40,000. It talks about a lot, man. It talks about a lot. Again, a lot of stuff that I already knew because it was so much that I've been reacting to. Uh, Diddy going to private school, and his friend Tim Patterson was older than him, so he looked at Diddy like a little brother. But he said he left and went to like the military, and he felt like he was Diddy's protector. But he left. He went to the military, but he came back. He like Diddy pretty much put him on, and he became like a producer or whatever too. But he ended up leaving because I guess this wasn't the lifestyle for him. Uh, Now back to the I'll Be Sure, because I have to talk about this. So I had asked a question the other day, like, I was like, how did that work? How did Diddy adopt Quincy? Like, I felt I'll Be Sure was still in Quincy's life. I'll Be Sure said that Kim Porter was the one who orchestrated this, like the publicist, because they were saying, he said Kim was so afraid of Diddy that let me back up a little bit. Sorry. I'll Be Sure and Kim Porter were still together, and Diddy, and they had Quincy, and it was a scene they showed where you see Diddy looking at Kim Porter and Quincy as a baby. And he told, and I believe I'll Be Sure was like right next to them too. But he said that, like, basically he wants that. What they have, he wants that. And I'll Be Sure kind of like gave this look because he saw something in Diddy's eyes, as if he looked like he wanted to take this from him. And lo and behold, I guess I'll Be Sure and Kim Porter, they broke up. But I'll Be Sure was talking about like the bro code. Like, if you supposed to be my brother, you're not supposed to date like my ex, pretty much. But they end up dating, Kim Porter and Diddy. And like I reacted to in that article I read the other day, I'll Be Sure said that Kim confided in him, but she said, like, basically, I don't want you repeating this because I'm afraid for my safety and yours. Now, it was a lot of stuff. I'll Be Sure you can really tell he was thinking before he was speaking. And it was stuff he said he couldn't say legally. But he basically said that if you look at Quincy's name, his last name is still Brown. So there is no adoption. It was just something that I think Diddy wanted it to be like a power thing. So he's saying Kim orchestrated this to I think to please Diddy. I'm thinking maybe because he didn't want it to look like, I'm dating this girl who got another man's child, like this is my son type of thing. It's wild, y'all. It's wild. For those of you who've watched it, y'all know what I'm talking about. But like I said, I'll Be Sure said it was a lot of stuff that he couldn't say because it's still stuff he's going through legally. But he said there's a lot of people um, who were part of his demise. Like this man literally said it wasn't the first, second, third, fourth time he had like a health scare. And he said basically saying for all of the people who tried to take me out, he said, you're in the foul. Basically, he had kept records of people who were trying to take him out, who were sent to take him out. He has them on file. All right. Uh, and he said, how come everybody who wanted to or tried to come out and say something, because people always talk about why these people wait so long, why it's been 20 some years, why are people finally talking? The people who were saying stuff are gone. I'll Be Sure said, why are these people always gone? But that was the number one thing I wanted to see, was because the way that it had been shown in the trailer, I was like, oh man, if he's gonna say some stuff, you know it's gonna be true, because he was right next to Kim, right next to her. But it was a lot of stuff he wouldn't say legally, because of what's going on. And then back to that stampede, how they said that place can only hold like 2,700 people, but they promoted it like as if to like 10,000. Like that's why it got so crazy. 10,000 people trying to fit in a place that only hold 2,700. Crazy, man. Yeah, but Diddy was with I think her name was Lisa, when he basically said what he said about Kim. Like, I want that, what you and I'll Be Sure have with the kid. He was already with someone. But yeah, basically Kim Porter had all this stuff she was writing, and basically I'll Be Sure, she confided in him, and I think they tried to take him out because of what he knew. That was a part that I really wanted to talk about. Diddy said something so huge in there. He said, I'm going to show y'all how to have fun, like have fun. Maybe I'm not saying it in the order, but have fun, make money, and stay out of jail. He said, I'm going to show y'all how to do that. Wanted people to fear him so they can respect him. What surprisingly is they didn't talk about J-Lo. I thought they would in this documentary. They didn't. I know there's another documentary that's supposed to be coming out too, but I did see a clip of J-Lo in the studio. Sarah, and apologies if I'm jumping, but hopefully y'all follow me. Sarah from Making the Band. How you had Sarah, Choppa, Dylan, Freddie P, Ness, and Babs, I believe her name. Sarah from Making the Band. She was the one who had the husband. The husband did not like Diddy at all. But she came out and said that Diddy touched her. That's all I can say here. She was like, it's tough to say because it's been so long. A lot of these people, when they talk, you can see that they're scared. Some of the men in here, some of the men in here, like I said, they're choosing their words carefully. The only one who was just coming out and saying stuff was like Gene Deal. He said, I've been talking about this stuff since the 90s. But Gene Deal also said that about making the band or whatever, that like they tripping And he said, I think I've heard someone say this before. It might have been Gene before, but he said in this documentary that they lucky I don't drug them and pimp them out to my friends. Yeah. And then you had a couple of people who were talking but wouldn't show their face. And that Ariel lawyer lady is representing one of them. The girl came out and said, Diddy, let me word this, Diddy did something to her with a remote control. With a remote control. Also, it was a dude who said he worked there, and one of the things Diddy showed him on the phone was two men doing things. And Diddy said, this is what they do to get to the top. This is what they do to get to the top in the industry. Showing two men on the phone. Didn't say which men. I don't know who they are, if they famous now or not, but this is what they do, which we already knew. Some of the dudes in the video were saying they didn't hear about a freak off into these allegations. But another dude, the dude who was talking, who his voice was distorted and you didn't hear him, he was saying stuff like, you know, there hasn't ever been an all-white party where a freak off didn't occur. So basically every white party that he had, there was a freak off. Also saying, because they were showing like exclusive footage of when you're in a room and it's red, that's his whole thing about like how I can't even say the word, but basically saying like the mood, to get people in the mood. And saying that Diddy, you know, seen two girls, and I'm gonna just say allegedly, I'm just repeating what the dude is saying in this story, but seeing two girls or whatever and got their attention, and he was gone with them for 24 hours in a room, and allegedly that they weren't of age. Yeah, that right, it's so much more. It's a lot that I can't say because it's too hard to describe, but that was pretty much the meat of the bone, with the guy talking whose voice was distorted and said he feared for his life. That's why he's trying to stay, you know, out of the limelight. The other lady who they didn't show her face, talking about the remote. But it was a lot, man. They were just showing his rise, how I talked about the other day, the friend, Tim Patterson, because I covered this the other day, talking about how the mother would have these parties and you would see all of these people coming in the house that just doing all this crazy stuff. And him and Diddy were kids when this was happening, and it was pretty much going on right in front of them. But they were saying that he was also saying that, or Gene Deal was saying, nobody looked at Diddy as a tough guy. He wasn't looked at this tough, like a tough dude. You know, he was looked at because he had nice clothes, he dressed nice, but Diddy wanted to be a part of that. And he feels that with Diddy becoming an intern and then finally getting that money from Clive Davis, he had the power that he needed. You know, he didn't have the toughness, but he had the power. So the power was behind the money, which allowed him to, you know, get people into this lifestyle. But a lot of this stuff, like I said, I knew, but the I'll Be Sure really stood out to me. And now with everything coming out, I think a lot of people who are going to watch this documentary, they're going to be like, dang, Like, that's why I said there's more to come, because I'll Be Sure said it's stuff that he cannot talk about. But yeah, so what I took from this documentary, just to close out this video, is that Diddy never was a tough guy. He used his money, his power, and you know, he, as a child, he seen some stuff, and someone said something very important. This lady said, just because you may have went through or seen some things when you were little, you still like basically shouldn't be getting a pass for your actions, because a lot of people go through things and they don't act out the way Diddy is, you know. It was very telling, though, this documentary. I feel like a lot of people who were talking seemed shocked and surprised at the things, and I think at the same time it may be a little denial. Like, for some of the guys that were in there, they like, I couldn't believe it. It was shocking to see this. But like, as I said, they don't look at Diddy as a tough guy, but they were saying when that video came out of Cassie, they were like kind of looking like, damn, like they couldn't believe it. Like, it was very shocking for them. Because I guess it's one thing to hear rumors, but that, like I said, that video came out, boy. Yeah, so Kim Porter was afraid and scared. So she was just trying to do what he did, what she was asking, what he was asking of her. And people were they asked Gene Deal, like, did you ever see anything? And he said a lot of stuff didn't happen in front of him. You know, he would be standing at a door, guarding a door. You had the makeup lady for Cassie talk about Cassie. A lot of the stuff about Cassie we already know. They went into that more detail, or basically saying what they said already about Cassie, which we know. I don't have to repeat that. But yeah, I'll Be Sure said that this is what I'm waiting for now, because he said that there's basically more to come. That's all my brain can handle right now, man. But that's my review on it. I thought it was all right. Boy. He's definitely a savage, a monster. Definitely. Definitely. It's hard to not believe all this stuff that's alleged about against him. But all right, hey, appreciate y'all coming over and watching, man. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.